Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel CrackZat, turning problems into solutions. This is the part 2 of the video which had golden rules for cracking the reading comprehension questions. In the previous video, we discussed the first two rules to crack the RCs accurately, and now in this video, we'll be talking about rule number 3, 4 and 5. So what to wait for? Let's get started. So before knowing rule 3, we need to know what are relative clauses. So relative clauses are words like who, what, where, why, when, etc. And these relative clauses actually give us some additional information. Like, let's take an example of a sentence with relative clause. We can say, Tom, comma, who is a great dancer, comma, met with an accident. Okay, so can you recognize here what exactly is the relative clause? You would say, of course, why not? Just now we talked about the various W's. So over here, it would be easy for us to recognize that who is the relative clause, and the part which who holds, that is who is a great dancer, is basically the relative clause in this sentence. And what is the rule related to relative clause? The rule related to relative clause says that we are not supposed to focus on that. What is really relevant and important and generally asked in the RCs is what happened to Tom. So Tom met with an accident is really important in this part. Compared to whether he was a dancer or not, what his profession is really doesn't matter. Now you must be thinking, why is it absolutely given if it's not important? That's the reason it's a reading comprehension question, guys. And in reading comprehension, the author, or we should say the examiner, really wants to find out that how well you can filter through the information given to you. In our daily lives, in our practical lives also, it happens multiple times that we come across so much information which is really not relevant to us. But out of all those irrelevant things, we do filter out some important information which will help us in our processes later. So here also we have to do the same thing and show the same skill to the question paper setter, that even if you give me long sentences having relative clauses, I would not be confused and I will just be focused on what is relevant. And here relative clauses are generally not relevant. So rule number 4 says that avoid these relative clauses or ignore these relative clauses because they always give us additional information. Okay, just to check the number, this was rule number 3. Coming to rule number 4. Rule number 4 says that avoid understanding the example in case you have understood the key idea already. Now, what is the key idea and what is the example? We have various type of sentences. If I just go down and give you an example, I can say that Sudha Murthy is a philanthropist. So, if I have said Sudha Murthy is a philanthropist, after this I can say, for instance, she has distributed she has distributed 1000 books to the kids. Just an example. So over here, when I say that Sudha Murthy is a philanthropist, I have understood the key idea, what the author wants to say. If I know the meaning of philanthropist only then. So for those who don't know, philanthropist is a person who actually donates a lot of wealth from their own. And a philanthropist is actually someone who really wishes to do the charity work, and Sudha Murthy is a philanthropist. We know this. Now this means that we already know the idea of the sentence or the passage, or we can say the paragraph basically. So Sudha Murthy is a philanthropist that is understood by us. Once we understand the passage, we are literally not going to apply any extra time in reading and understanding the example, because they will never ask you in a question how many books did she actually distribute. Rather, the question will be, what is the meaning of philanthropist? Or it can be like, if Sudha Murthy is a philanthropist, then which of these activities can be done by Sudha Murthy? And there will be four examples. You have to find out which option will be actually a donating or a charity kind of an option, so that would match. So these kind of questions will come in the exam. So once you know the key idea, you can avoid understanding the passage, which would really save some amount of time of yours. So that makes it rule number 3. But over here, I would like to just make a note that in case sometimes it happens that we really don't know the meaning of every word, or we don't understand the idea properly, we are not clear with it. For example, if you don't know what a philanthropist is, then please don't hesitate to read the passage and get the idea of what philanthropist is. All right. So this is just for the case when you know the idea, then you can save your time by not reading the examples. So that stands as rule number 4. Coming to the last rule, which is rule number 5. Now, yeah, just in addition to rule number 4 is that generally we have seen that there are a lot of proper nouns in the example sections. So that's again, if you don't have the words like for instance, including, for example, such as, if you don't get those words but still get a lot of proper nouns in certain sentences, you can understand that they are trying to give us some examples. And do note down the proper nouns somewhere in your notebook, because that would really help you in future, like in case you are solving a question and a very direct question comes in the passage. That typically happens. Now the last rule for today's video, and the most important rule, the structured words. Now, what are structured words? Structured words are also called as linking words. And as I have written already, they are very, very important in the RCs. Why are they important? And first of all, what are those words? Words like but, however, moreover, on the other hand, thus, therefore, in conclusion, in summary, nevertheless, etc. These kind of words are called as linking words or structured words. And these are really, really, really important in the RCs, because 60 to 70% of the questions are based out of it. So what do we need to do there? As I have already written, slow down when you find a structured word, because they change the course of the passage. Let's take a very common example. Let's take Ravan's example. Ravan was a great king. Ravan was a great king. He helped his people. He abducted Sita. Now, there are three sentences written back to back. Do you find something is missing in that sentence? Yes or no? If yes, then you are right. Because Ravan was a great king, this typically is a positive sentence. He helped his people is again a kind of example which supports this positive sentence at the top. But he abducted Sita can never be called as a positive sentence. It's definitely a negative sentence. Now, can we join the positive sentences with the negative sentences together without any linking word? Not really, because that would mean that abducting Sita, helping his people, all these activities together makes Ravan a great king. Not really. Only one thing makes him a great king, that he helped his people, but abducting Sita cannot be considered as making him a great king. So from here we understand that when we are joining a positive and a negative sentence, we need to add some linking or structured words. So I can add words like but, however, nevertheless, example, etc., etc., the examples which I gave you above. If I add words like but, however, then it just changes the course of the passage. So till now we were talking about the positive sentences of Ravan, like he is a great king, he helped his people, but here this but is a structured sentence or structured word rather, and the structured word will help us to change the course of the direction, suddenly going towards the negative now. That but, even though he has done all of this, he abducted Sita, which was a negative sentence, which is a wrong act. So whenever you see these words, I'll again show you my rules page. Whenever you see the words like but, however, moreover, on the other hand, thus, therefore, all these words are structured words, and you know that you have to slow down in the passage. Generally, when we read the passage, we go like swiftly across the lines. But whenever you get through the words like these, but, however, moreover, etc., you need to slow down, you need to read it, and you need to see what changes are happening in the sentences. What was said earlier and what is said after these structured words will really help you to get almost 70% of the questions based on that one single RC. All right, so this brings us to the end of this video. Today in this video, we have learned 5 golden rules to crack the RCs, and I would be coming up with the part 2 of this video as well, which will contain the remaining rules. If you really did like these rules and think it would be helpful for you to crack down the reading comprehension section of any examination, then do give a like and do subscribe to my channel, because it's really important and it would really be helpful for me. And press that bell icon as well so that you get notified of all the new videos coming up on this channel. So until we meet again, take care. See you.